Hello, how are we doing? How is everyone doing? That's a tough one to take. God, we still look like we belong in this league. That's the first thing I'll say before I get told I'm being overly critical in this. But we competed for large parts of that game. But I hope you're all well. Disappointing one. Your chat's going up here over here in the corner. I'm going to try and focus on what we're doing today just to get through this. But yeah, a lot of stuff to get through. Possibly a lack of quality in the final third for Leeds. I thought we made some of our own problems in the first half. We'll go through the positives and the negatives because there's both. I think there's good areas that we should look at. I'm not ignoring the cracks in this because we're a newly promoted side and they're a top six side. So we're lucky to be in the game. I'm not buying any of that. I think Leeds are in this division on merit, and Leeds have shown so far since they've been in this division that they deserve to be in this division. But I think at times we've made life difficult for ourselves. This game is one of those. For me, there's still an issue with conceding space at the wrong time in games. End of the first half, start of the second half. Outside of that, when we do push forward and when we do put pressure on sides, we can look like a really, really good team. We move the ball very, very well. We've got decent enough players. I mean, we're talking about quality, but we're not talking about lack of creation because Leeds have created chances again today. They've just not finished them off. DCL's had a stack of chances again today. I think at some point, I know he's getting up to fitness, but you've got a Lucas Mecha there who's 6 foot plus in height, can hold the ball up really, really well. And maybe at some point we need to start looking at that because for me, he's had a lot of chances today and he should be doing better with a couple of them again. But he's thereabouts. He's in the right areas. People talk about Jack Harrison. I don't know what Jack offers. Though I said this for weeks. If Jack Harrison is the answer, I don't know what the question is. But yeah, it doesn't offer a huge amount. Okafor was very, very good today. Thought he was really, really good. Gabby Goodmunson had a tough day against Mohamed Kudus. Thought he did very well against him. The midfield was the area for me where I think we lost this in the first half, specifically the Leeds midfield, where surrounding players and not making tackles. There was a moment, there was 2 times actually in the first half where Mohamed Kudus on the far side of the pitch ended up on the ground twice, the ball surrounded by Leeds players and managed to get up and get past all the Leeds players and still have the ball without anybody putting in any kind of a tackle. We'll go through the bits and pieces on this. There's a few, I suppose, bits to talk about, but we'll start off like Leeds have a big chance very, very early in the game. Like 4 minutes in, Leeds get a corner. And Stack shoots across the goal, takes a deflection, hits Ethan Ampadu and goes wide, but it's a good start by Leeds. There's a really big chance for Leeds, a free kick. Sean Longstaff takes it for Cario, misses the ball, and Joe Rodon hits the post, the big one that comes all the way across the penalty area. He's missed it, and Joe Rodon's got a head to it, hits the post. 22 minutes on, Spurs get a goal then. So Leeds start really well, have lots of pressure, and then sucker punch happens, concede a goal. And yeah, so what I wrote down for this, Spurs push the ball forward into Tell. Longstaff loses the ball initially in midfield. And then he tries to track the run and he can't get back in time. Pascal Struijk, for me, just continues to drop after he gets level with him, gets in front of him, but keeps dropping him. For me, needs to engage the ball a bit earlier, make it a bit more difficult. Shots taken, takes a deflection, shoots past Carl Darlow. Arguable whether you think Darlow should have done better with that and gotten up to it or not. Was he slow to react? I don't know. Did the deflection take the ball in much of a different direction? I don't really know. But for me, can't keep backing off the way we keep backing off when players are running. And that was a theme of the first half. Every time Spurs got the ball and ran on us, Leeds backed off into their own penalty area, conceded huge amounts of space, and gave them a reason to get shots on goal inside Leeds penalty area. There has to be a line somewhere on that part where Leeds say, we don't drop beyond this. We can drop and hold them and jockey them for part of this, but when they get to this area, that's when we stop. We engage them, we press the ball, we try and force a mistake. And we didn't do that enough in the first half. Second half, it was definitely better, but first half, not enough. 25 minutes then, a couple of minutes later, Leeds get a chance. DCL has a good chance. Leeds win the ball back outside Spurs box. It's given to DCL. He takes about 6 touches in the penalty area before blasting it miles over the crossbar. And again, for me, on the half turn, 1 touch out of your body, 2nd touch is a shot. And he doesn't do that and he wastes an opportunity. But I wrote down here, Leeds weren't, up until the 25th minute, Leeds weren't strong enough in tackles, weren't physical enough, weren't doing the things we did really well against Everton, Newcastle, and for 70 minutes against Spurs, against Fulham, where we were in their faces, close to them, making it difficult and uncomfortable. And we let Spurs play for the first 25 minutes in so much space. Initially, the front press was there, but as the half went on, Leeds retreated. If that's a player decision, Barker needs to grab them around the scruff of the neck and tell them to stop doing it. Because when Leeds have that high press, Leeds look good. That's when we look at our absolute best. We were putting a lot of pressure on them. We're doing all the right things. We were forcing mistakes. Vicario looked dodgy as hell because Leeds were doing the right things in the right area by putting pressure on them. And then as the half goes, Leeds start to retreat more and more and more, concede that space, and Spurs have space to play into. But I go back to this, for me in the first half, Leeds midfield of Stack, Longstaff and Ampadu wasn't enough tackles. There was too much jockeying. There was too much letting players run past them without any kind of pressure. And that was an issue. The Leeds equalised in 34. Noah Okafor scores a second goal of the season. And for me, Noah Okafor was probably our best player in the park today. Definitely our most creative player, our most dangerous player. Looked to create stuff, looked to get forward. Fizzed a few balls across the box as well. Again, nobody in there to tap them in. But he gets the goal. Bogle's cross is whipped low in. DCL does really well. Sets it back. Good strike from Brendan Aronson through a crowd. Again, Brendan, very good. Well, decent game by Brendan. Keeper palms it out to the right-hand side, and Noah Okafor is there. Although someone threw a beach ball on the pitch at the wrong time. Could have cost Leeds, but didn't. Okafor scores it. Leeds back in the game 1-0. And then you think Leeds are going to try and get a grip of this. Calm down. Get a grip of this again. Start keeping the ball. Start looking after it a bit. Gets a bit floppy again after that. But in the 37th minute, Leeds get another chance. Ball drops to Sean Longstaff on the edge of the box. Gets 2 cracks at this. The second one probably has more time than he thinks he does. And smashes the ball over the crossbar. And you go in at half-time 1-0. And if I go through the notes for the first half, a good start by Leeds in the first half. A good end of the first half by Leeds. The middle bit was where Leeds caused a lot of their own problems. And I should caveat all of this by saying Spurs are now, second in the table? Very good side, very good players. You saw the depth of their bench as well that they brought on. But at some point, we've got to start looking at Leeds and saying, is this Leeds team better than we think it is? Could we have competed in these moments? And for me, a lot of the stuff was basic stuff. So I think, yeah, I think we can. Again, I will continue to point the holes that are there and the cracks that are there, no matter the result, good or bad. I'll still do both. I'll try and balance it out with both because there was some good in this as well. When the 45th minute, Leeds concede another chance. Tell gets a chance there, hits the crossbar. They go down the left-hand side. Again, really, really easy. Odebear crosses the ball in with little to no pressure on him. Tell beats stroke to the header, hits the crossbar, eventually goes out of play. Leeds playing on their luck a little bit. There was too many times for me in the first half where one Spurs player was surrounded by Leeds bodies and they managed to either run past them or around them without any form of a tackle, any form of real pressure, or any type of presence from a Leeds player stepping into their space and making it difficult for them. Didn't really happen. They danced past us and points in the first half. Kudos, as I say, twice in the first half was on the ground surrounded by Leeds players and ends up coming out with the ball past the Leeds players to try and deliver a ball into the penalty area. And for me, that's not good enough. That's just basic defending. Get close, push him out of play. Don't let him get off the ground. If you have to give away a free kick, give away a free kick, but don't let him get up and don't let him run into space. We created lots of good goal-scoring chances in that first half as well. We didn't take them. DCL arguing in the second half as well as a couple he should score, but don't take our chances. And we need to be more physical because it's what worked against Everton and it's what worked against Newcastle and it's what worked again. And I'm going to keep saying this for 70 minutes. That was what was magic for Leeds. Leeds were making it really, really uncomfortable for these sides to play against us. We weren't giving them space. We were tight to them every time they got the ball. There was a Leeds player there. And if you look at Leeds over the last 2 or 3 games, there's a lot more space. These are not engaging players as the ball is moving to them. They're waiting until it gets there, and then they're moving. By the time they get there, it's gone. Been moved and passed around them. So there's little things there for me that I think they need to look at. And Einer's saying Strike has been this, and this is probably his first bad game. I thought he was poor, but I've been pointing out for weeks about Pascal Struijk that he's getting dragged out of position, and at some point it's going to cost him. And he was getting dragged around the place again today. That for me needs to be looked at. The issue between Struijk and Bial is this: Leeds bought Yaka Bial to be the player to stop shots from the edge of the penalty area. That was what he is known for in Italy. An edge of the box defender where he blocks shots, he blocks players. We've had 2 balls from the edge today on the edge of the box. Too many shots from the edge of the box got through. Second half, the second goal comes because it goes through Pascal Struijk again. That has to stop. You're there to stop those shots from coming in. It's too easy. So I'm critical of him in that aspect. Then the second half starts. Going into the second half, I thought we finished the first half pretty well. We're okay. We're leveling here now. But let's learn from the first half. Be more physical. Be closer to them. Take care of the ball a bit better. Don't sit off them. Be a bit higher up the park. We didn't start the second half like that. 48 minute, DCL gets 2 chances. First one, he spins in the box, takes a shot, takes a touch, and that probably helps the keeper get a toe to it. And then Stack smashes the ball right across the goal line, which is where he should be. And he's stretching for it with his toe, and he can't reach it, and it runs across the goal out of play. 51st minute, Spurs then get a chance. Leeds lose the ball on the edge of their own box. I mean, that happened a lot, losing the ball in their own half. Smashed across the goal line as well. Again, nobody from Spurs side there to tap it in. Leeds get off the hook. The ball goes away. 57 minutes, Spurs score. Ball goes down the left-hand side, hits Goodman's on the side and bounces in field. Kudos gets it, comes across. And again, the issue from the first half is here again. Nobody goes to him. Everyone backs off of him and lets him run into that area where it's dangerous. And then when he goes to shoot, we get a slight tackle in and it goes through. Off pass goes through. Wrong foot's Carl Darlow and goes in the bottom corner. Again, whether you think Darlow could have done well with that or not, it wasn't hit particularly hard. But again, for me, Stroke needs to go to the player. He's not. He's jockeying him, standing off him. That's not defending for me. Not in that area. Higher up the pitch, perfect. No problem. Not on the edge of your box. You've got to go and make it difficult. All you've got to do is get to him, turn him around and send him backwards. They can keep possession, but just not there. We don't do that. 70 minutes, then we have a chance. Tanaka into Longstaff. He turns, shoots from outside the box, wide by about a yard. Tanaka made a difference in the second half. We kept the ball much better when he came onto the park. I thought the substitutions for the most part were good. Jack Harrison comes on for Okafor. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're 5 years into the Jack Harrison conversation, and Everton fans and Leeds fans will all say the same thing. Jack Harrison can't cross the ball. I'm confused whether he can cross his legs, let alone cross the ball. But how many times he smash balls straight into the first man? Don't beat players. You've all these big lads in the box in the second half and no delivery going into the penalty area. 93-minute Leeds get a chance then. Pirro does really, really well. And there's the conversation around where does Joel Pirro fit in a 2. DCL wins the header. Pirro gets the second ball. Good strike on goal. And it's a very, very good save by the goalkeeper. But if you look at the second half, started slowly. The changes made a difference. I think Farke got most of his changes right today. The Jack Harrison one for me is never the right change. I'd have left Noah Okafor on the pitch. I think an entire Noah Okafor brings more than a fit Jack Harrison at this point, because I don't know what he brings to the team and I don't know what he did. We were having so much joy down the left-hand side with Okafor, and then it just stops when Jack comes on immediately. And they can say he's tired and he's leggy and you're freshening things up. Fine. But it doesn't work. Jack doesn't work for me. I just, that's where I am with that one. The other changes I thought made a lot more sense. Brings on Mecha then up front. You could have swapped Mecha for DCL at that point, just for someone to hold the ball up, but he makes more changes than that and brings on Mecha and Pirou. And Leeds have plenty of the ball. The issue then towards the last 20 minutes of the game is Leeds have lots of the ball. They've got big lads in the box, but we're not putting crosses in. Jaden Bogle puts 2 crosses in straight out of play, which is not like him. And in an area like that where you've got the bodies in the box and you want to be getting decent balls into the box, we don't do that. And it's disappointing. But Leeds had chances. They had plenty of chances. And Leeds were well enough in that game to be able to say, coming away from that we deserved something from that we should have gotten something from that. And we can take this 2 different directions. We can say, well, look, isn't it great to be in the Premier League? And isn't it great that Leeds competed with a Spurs side and didn't look out of place against the Spurs side, who are top 6 side, and, respect to them. But let's go back a few weeks ago. We're build up to the Wolves game. I was saying Leeds need to win this game. And everyone, other content creators, other people out there, people in chats telling me that, you've got to respect Wolves. They're an established side. They've been dog shit all year, but you've got to respect them. And Leeds didn't. Went and beat them. And Leeds was shown in nearly every single game, bar that Arsenal game, that we can compete with all of these sides. And maybe we just need a bit more belief. Maybe this side is better than we think it is. But there's moments in that game where it's a decision that's made by Leeds that's cost Leeds. The decision to drop off 15 yards in your press. The decision to go from a front press to a mid block to a low block in the first half, which invites pressure onto you. The decision to not press crosses, which for 3 matches in a row, Leeds aren't pressing crosses. They're letting them come into the box way too easily. And these are not massively difficult things to fix. These are not systematic errors. These are not managerial errors. These are not huge problems with the overall quality of the squad. These are decisions made during the game. Hold that press. Hold that line. It's working. They can't get out. They can't play. And they're giving us the ball back. We surrendered that space. We did it against Bournemouth for half an hour. And we got picked off for there. And we're starting to concede a few too many goals now. It's starting to happen over the last couple of weeks. Clean sheets are gone. And I think the clean sheets have gone with the aggressiveness. I think because Leeds' aggressiveness has dropped, I think that has happened as well. So, yeah. Sorry, just reading the chat there. Yeah. So we can talk about quality all we want all day long. But Leeds have created several goal scoring chances today and haven't scored them. How many teams last season from the 3 that came up can say they created as many chances as Leeds are? I mean, the statistics are on screen there. You can see it, right? 100 and where are we? I get the actual stats up so I can see them because I can't read those ones. Leeds the next year 1.6. They the next year 0.5. They've scored twice. And Leeds have scored once. 3 big chances to Leeds, 1 goal. That's an issue. Now, that tells you that Leeds are in a stronger position than welcome to the Premier League. It's great to be here. Leeds should be doing more than that, in my opinion. Keeper's got one real save to make. Total shots, Leeds at 16 shots on goal versus Spurs 9. If we look at the shots on target, look at the actual full shots on goal. The attack side of it, we get shots. Where's the shot? There we go. Total shots 16, 4 on target for Leeds. But how many of them fizzed across the penalty area? How many chances that weren't registered as shots were there today? So for me, it's simple. Go back to what you're doing against Everton and go back to what you did against Newcastle and be physical. Be in their faces, push high, press high. Because there was good moments in this game when we did do it. When we got into our flow, when we moved the ball well, we looked like a really decent side. We've created some good chances. We very much look like we belong at this level. And for me, it's just a case of believing in ourselves a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but we should believe in ourselves a little bit more. This is a decent Leeds United side, and the players have come in and done well. Anton Stack, I thought today probably wasn't great. We'll go through the players as well, but for me, we need to stop with the dropping. This has to stop this drop off and conceding space. And if you don't agree with me, that's absolutely fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. This is my opinion based on how I look at football. But if you watch that game back again, watch Leeds starting defensive position in the first half when Spurs are playing out the ball, and look how good it is, how high it is, and how difficult Spurs found it to get out. Then look at that in the middle of the half and watch how far Leeds have dropped. Same in the second half, the start of the second half. Leeds are 18-yard line. Why? No need for it. So that's the contrast for me that we need to look at here. And then again, the physicality. You cannot have players run past you and not lean into them, not put them off, not be physical with them, not stand in their way, not keep dropping off until you're inside your penalty area. There's got to be a line. 18-yard line, we drop no further. You shall not pass. This is it. We hold our fort here. But we keep dropping into the penalty area. And I played as a striker. And I can tell you, if a centre-back dropped into his penalty area, suits me all day long. If I can get touched near the 18-yard line, I'm practicing shots all day, all week from that area. Perfect. I'll hit these. And they did. They got 2 goals from it. So, of our own making in some areas, 2 deflections off Pascal Stroke, 2, I can call them OGs, I can give them to the strikers. They'll probably be given to the strikers because they were on target. I don't think any of them went down as an OG. No, Tell was given the goal, and yeah, so was Kudos. So, yeah, look, it's a disappointing result because we created chances. We weren't dominated by any stretch of the imagination. We had more possession than they had in the game. For large parts of the game, we were the better side. I think it's personal decisions that's costing us. Go through the players. Darlow didn't have a huge amount to do. Distribution was decent. Not a whole lot of crosses to come and catch. You can argue if he should have done better for either goal. I personally think Lucas Perry will come straight back into the team after the international break, personally. But we'll see. Jayden Bogle, quite enough first half for him. Second half, much better getting forward, but steady from him. Disappointing that his crosses in the second half, when we had so many tall players in the penalty area, didn't even get into the space that went out of play. He'll be annoyed at that himself. Don't need to tell him. Usually he's very, very good at it. An off day. Gabby Goodmanson thought he was very, very good again. Thought he dealt with Mohamed Kudus, who's a very good player, and he dealt with him well. But in the preview to this, which if you haven't watched it, I said you've got to watch for Kudus coming inside and having shots. Cutting inside, getting to that spree area and looking to shoot. And the goal comes from exactly that. Pascal Strout, poor game today for me, not just from the OG's perspective, but not engaging players early enough, dropping off too much, backing off, jockeying, not tackling enough for me. Didn't think he was good today. Joe Rodon was fine, did what he had to do, dealt the players he had to deal with, could have had a goal, possibly should have had a goal, but steady game from him. Anton Stack, possibly his poorest game, although he'd probably get man of the match now that I've said that, but I didn't think he was great. I thought he was sloppy in possession, thought he gave the ball away an awful lot at the start of the second half. Sean Longstaff, again, slightly off of it, wasn't his normal self, but did manage to create some good shooting chances for himself. He'd be disappointed that not all of them hit the target. When Tanaka came on, Longstaff looked a lot better, looked a lot more comfortable. Leeds retained the ball. That back 3 Leeds went as an interesting one to look at. Do Leeds look at bringing that in full-time? I don't know. They'll have 2 weeks to think about it. Ethan Ampadu, steady in the middle of the park, was very good when he went back into the defence, starting off moves. I like him back there. He starts moves very, very well for Leeds. Calvert-Lewin, I didn't think he was great today. At some point, you got to start finishing these chances. Dominic, we can wait until you're up to speed, but if you're not up to speed, the manager has to start the other striker. You've got options. So at some point, it stops becoming a DCL issue and it starts becoming a selection issue. But he's had probably, for me, 3 chances again today. Not as easy as the ones he had last week that he should have scored. But again, for me, I think he should have had a goal. Steve Brown thought Ampadu, Dr. Cox thinks Ampadu is better than Pascal. I disagree on that, but each to their own. No, Okafor thought he was our best player on the park. Solid going forward, created chances, scores a goal. is involved, gets taken off again for me too early. Brendan Aronson, you get what you get from Brendan, works hard, runs around, tackles, difficult to play against, doesn't have the legs to beat a fullback, no real quality in terms of crossing it and creating chances from his side, but that's not what he's there for. The substitutions, Metcha comes on, he's tidying the ball, wins a few free kicks, wins a few throw-ins, holds the ball up very, very well. Very difficult to get the ball off, was steady. Out Tanaka changes the second half for me when he comes on, though. Very good in possession, very rarely loses the ball, very rarely has a sloppy pass, picks out players very, very well. Steve saying was talking about Ampadu being better than Pascal. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Agree with you there. In that case, Dr. Cox, I completely agree with you. I think he is. Definitely think he is. I think we're starting to see issues with Pascal that we saw the last time he was in the Premier League. Just drops off too much, gives players way too much respect. I think maybe we gave them too much respect at points during the game. Jack Harrison comes on, does very little. And it's not a personal thing. I just don't get it. I just don't see what he brings to the side. Whatever he's doing in training every week that makes him the first change, great, but I don't see what he brings to the side. I mean, his crossing's poor, doesn't find players. He loses the ball with passes. He loses in possession. He makes bad decisions running forward. And every Everton fan will tell you the exact same thing. This is not just a Leeds thing. It's an all-up thing. James Justin comes on for Bogle towards the end, gives away a ball in his first passes straight to a Spurs player. And there was a bit of that going on. But yeah, Leeds have got options to change things around a little bit. But they've got a couple of easier run games coming out of this. Kudos to give man the match today as well. We'll have a look at the SofaScore ratings on this. The SofaScore ratings, by the way, are done via an algorithm. So the eye test doesn't come into it. But yeah, they've given Gabby Goodmanson Leeds' worst player, outfield player, which he wasn't by any. But up against Kudos. But I thought he was good. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin gets a poor performance as well. Strouk gets a low one as well. So yeah, maybe just something in it. But yeah, look, disappointed not to get a point out of that. I think we all would have been very, very happy with a point. Rob is saying, what changes do you make to the starting lineup, Jared, given that we've been pretty good and you probably don't want to make wholesale? I would bring Bial in for Strouk. That would be my first one. And I would try and find a way of bringing out Tanaka in. Just from how to keep the ball a bit better. You've got to sacrifice somebody, though. And that gives you depth, gives us people on the back. But yeah, our press was killed by the ref. I think we made a decision. I have to drop off. Again, if you go and watch that first half, there's very little tackles being put in by Leeds in the first half to even justify that. Second half, we get a yellow card, and that changes it a bit. But Leeds picked up two yellow cards, in the entire match. And the second yellow card was Okafor for putting his head into Romero's head. So outside that, not physical enough for me, not strong enough in tackles, not strong enough out of possession. That's the problem. In possession, very good. Created some good chances. Should have scored. DCL needs to start finding that finishing form. Needs to come quickly. Or else we need to look at replacing him with Metcha. Again, I have no problem with Metcha coming in. Need to get Okafor up to 90 minutes. I think he needs to stop being taken off because he is the one that's creating chances. He looked disappointed today coming off as well. So, yeah. And Tanaka's just tidy in possession. Just keeps the ball really, really well. And I'm going to upset people with this, but maybe there's a point, and we talked about this on the watch along over on bigup.com. Maybe there's an argument for Ilya Gruev for these kind of games as well, who's someone who will put a tackle in because we didn't in the first half. But again, go back, watch the first half and tell me the Leeds were physical enough in tackles and Spurs were made feel a little bit more uncomfortable at Ellen Road today. I didn't think they were. So that's where I sit with it, folks. You can let me know your comments down below. No issue if you disagree with me. It's all football. These are my opinions. I played it. I coached it. I managed football. This is how I look at the game. I look at it differently. When Leeds win a game 3-0 or 3-1, I'm still going to find the areas that Leeds need to improve on. You've got to keep looking where we are. And I think that this Leeds side has got a lot more to offer. I really do. I really, really do. You're expected to lose this game. We've lost our home record at Ellen Road finally. All the talk leading up to the game. But for me, moving forward, let's get the aggressiveness back in the game. It kept us in a very, very, very good position in the first couple of games of the season. Good point being made by Paul there. Stack was static. The entire side in the first half when we had possession was static. And that, again, is a pattern for a couple of games. So we have to see how we go. But look, that's where I am with it. Again, if you disagree, fine. Just let me know why you disagree. Give me your details. Give me your reasons for it. Let's have a proper discussion about it. I don't ever mind being wrong on things. I don't ever mind someone disagreeing. But give me your detail. Don't just say you're wrong, Jer. There's a bit of that last week being told I was wrong, but no one tell me why I was wrong. And I like to learn as well. So tell me what I should be looking for. Tell me what I'm getting wrong in this. Even tell me how you want these post matches structured. If you want a structure to this, we can look at that as well. But I think that this Leeds side is better than we give them credit for. And I think we need to expect a little bit more from them in certain areas. We've got Burnley coming up after the international break. We will still be doing news every single day of the week during the international break. We've got some different podcasts and streams lined up for the week as well to change the tone. We've got something on the cup final against the European Cup final against Bayern Munich as well. You can check that out during the week. So some different stuff to check out. But Appreciate everyone watching the content. Thank you very much. Agree or disagree, that's football. It's a game of discussion. It's a game of opinions. Let's have a proper conversation about it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the game. Highs, lows, both of them. Balance it out. Who you thought was the best player? Okafor, Goodmanson. Who was it who stood out for you today? And what do you want to see for the Burnley game moving forward? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to see it. I'll read them over the next couple of days and we'll bring it into the content for next week as well. We start preparing for what will be an easier run of games, I suppose, coming out of the international break, and we'll see where Leeds sit there. But disappointing to lose today. A quick comment from West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. He says, Leeds under 18s, Logan White scored 3 penalties. Okay, thanks for that. Right, folks, massive thanks. Stick a like on the video on your way out. That'd be massively appreciated as well for the algorithm. Outside of that, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Put it behind us and we move on. That's all we can do. Spurs 2, Leeds 1. The home record finally ends, but Leeds can be proud enough to say that they can compete at this level. Let's try and compete a bit more physically at times as well. Balance this out. All the best, folks. Enjoy the rest of the day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.